What's up, guys? So I get to reveal the solo leveling decks today, and let's just get right to it. Starting with Sung Jinwoo E rank Hunter. We have seen this character card before. The skill tree is what we had not seen, so we knew that he leveled up at the start of each end phase by removing an XP card from hand or stage, which is a fairly real cost, right? Because it's on your end phase, you're losing a block or you're losing a resource. I mean, a committed resource is probably the best situation, but he's a six-hander with 30 health on all death and life. Love that the all symbol's coming back. Great symbol. But here's his skill tree, and some of these are really good, but I think some of them are kind of eh. And the fact that you're getting one each turn, I mean, I guess the other way to look at this is like when you add all of these up together, he starts to look pretty crazy, right? But you have to get to that point. So he will definitely be looking for ways to live several turns so that he can get to like dagger throw and ruler's authority and these things that like give you additional resources for free every turn. Either whether it's more attacks, more foundations, just he's going to amass a ton of resources and just completely out endgame you because he has so many buttons when he gets to that point. That's at least the idea behind this character, right? So looking at some of his cards, we have Double Dungeon, which is his foundation. It's sort of designed to work with him. Uh, it levels after you level up, this card readies, which is cool. So just an additional defensive resource, and then it also allows you to level up at enhanced speed on your turn at the cost of not being able to level up again. Um, so this is pretty cool. I think the not being able to level up is a bit unfortunate that you can't like go up 2 levels in a turn, but I understand there probably was some concerns with like building in more of these and leveling up multiple times. So I get why they did it that way. But it essentially allows you to see a level 1 turn earlier than you would have at the cost of removing it. And the other card here is pretty exciting. World's Weakest Hunter is an attuned all symbol attack. Haha, I wonder where this is going to go. It is a mid attack with EX3 and weapon. Notably, some of these attacks have XP, some don't. This one does. But this is a 5 mid 3 response. After this attack deals damage, you remove a foundation from your stage, which is not cost. You can choose not to do it. And then you draw one card for each card in your removed game pile, max 3. Um, so yeah, there's a certain bird that's probably pretty excited for this card. Hopefully you can make this 3 damage down to 0, because when this thing hits, we're gonna see a lot of resources on that character very very early on. Crazy card. But yeah, love to see attuned all cards. Here's some more of his attacks. Clash with the Blood Dread is a 5 high 5, nice 1 high block on attuned all on a 5 difficulty attack. It does it the XP tag, and then the blitz is each player reveals the top of their deck. If the check value of your revealed card is greater than or equal to your rival commits to. Otherwise, you draw one and your rival mills one. So typically, haven't been a fan of these like variable effects. However, this one is worded quite nicely, where if there is an attack on top and your opponent has a 5 check, they mill the 5 check, you draw the attack, and the other way around, your opponent commits to and has an attack on top of their deck. So like when you get one of these effects, it works really well for you. I think the weird situation is when they're equal and then you like draw the foundation or whatever, and it's kind of like, this wasn't amazing. However, in those situations, it's very cool, and it's nice to see this scene from the anime here. Um, Venom Fang Dagger is a 3 low 3 that's also pretty interesting. It's a weapon tag, no XP on this one. A response after this attack deals damage, your next weapon gets plus X, where X is this attack's damage. Not printed, so you can throw a huge amount on this, and the next one is also massive. I love payoff cards like this. There's definitely some cool stuff you could do. Um, just the easiest example is like something like Wolfwood gives plus 3, and then you will carry the 6 onto the next one when this hits. It is a 3 lows though, so you do need to actually connect with it. A few more of his attacks. Killing Intent is a Fury weapon, no XP tag here. Blitz, Seal a Rival Foundation is great. Stun 1, 4 low 5. A bit pricey on a 5 diff, but it's a powerful effect, right? Turning off a foundation for a turn, and there are characters that can use that well. Um, or just in general, like, offensive turns are quite nice when you can turn off their defensive pieces. Grasp for survival is a throw that heals when you block with it. Kind of a strange card, but there's, it's an attuned life throw. We have some of those rotating. I'm sure there'll be uses here. Blocking and gaining health is nice, even if it's an expensive block mod. Um, Determined Cut is really cool. This is a 4 high 3 powerful 3 with the XP tag again and weapon on death, and the response on this is kind of like something like Armor of the Wolf. Actually, it's the inverted. After they play an enhance, they lose a health. So this is really trying to force your opponent into playing footsie with you, and if they choose to, they're going to lose a lot of health. Against decks that like want to have incremental speed and damage hate or damage reduction, want to like draw cards on defense and stuff like that. Doesn't matter if they use character enhances, whatever it is, they're going to start to burn for little amounts, and this could really add up, if you're going all in on this attack, which is neat. Enough of this is a 3 mid 4 Frenzy Fury on life. So Frenzy again is 1 speed damage for each attack blocked this turn at the Blitz. And then the other Blitz on this card does not count toward progressive difficulty to play Foundations, which is nice. This is just like a nice little flow piece that you can then more easily build out after poking. And the last attack here is just a 5 mid 5 blitz at an XP foundation, which we'll see more of in a second. So, first the assets. I definitely want to talk about these. Teleportation Stone is another very exciting card. This is a 3 diff asset unique. Thankfully, it's unique. Response remove after you block an attack. Your rival must play a non-attack card as their next form or pass. This effect is incredible. The reason it's especially good here is because it's on block. So unlike learning the standards where you have to get hit, this is just Airy Smiles. But you can block a low attack and then remove this. The downside, obviously, is it is an asset, so it is in the stage and you can interact with it. But that also is somewhat of an upside where cards like Tri-Gravity Beam would handle Airy Smiles and won't handle this. So extremely powerful card. Attuned Doll, Rodan's gonna love this one too. So yeah, definitely excited to use this card. And then his other asset is a 0 diff death asset, also unique. Hunter's Dagger. Your non-throw attack gains weapon. If it deals damage, add 3 bleed counters to this card. Cool that we're giving it a keyword. And then the bleed counters. Response Tenacious. Remove a bleed counter. After your rival plays an attack, if their health is 3 or greater, they lose a health. Burn that kills, yay. Kind of hard to evaluate this one, but it is interesting. You can stack a whole bunch of bleed counters and sort of limit the amount of attacks your opponent feels like they can safely play into you. Thankfully, this is a unique card. Otherwise, it could be really, really annoying where they're burning for 3 or 4 every time they play an attack. Okay, so now we're on the XP foundations. I believe almost all of his foundations, maybe all of them are XP. But this one is the one I'm most excited for. Loot box is a 4 check, but in a 2 diff. On a tuned all. However, the enhance on this is flip, build the top card of your deck. At the end of this combat phase, add that card to your hand. So unlike Weapon Clash and Always Cool, well, Always Cool builds in ready resources, but it's filling your card pool, so it's not as great. This just gives you a ready resource. I think this card is incredible. I think this will allow you to be extremely aggressive, build out cards, pick up that block that you built in and have committed to pay for a check. I think this card is tight, and I'm definitely going to be experimenting with it. Foundations that build more foundations are sort of a new thing for people who were playing standard before, and then like Weapon Clash and Always Cool and came in and they felt pretty locked to the death symbol. Like, death sort of had its ramp thing going, but with this and Weapon Clash on all now, all definitely has its own as well. Or characters with both you can just play this on death in a character like that, which is just, probably ridiculous. Um, And then item menu is interesting because I think this card is just not future proofed in the slightest. This one is a one diff that after you remove this card from your hand, draw a card. So right now, as far as I know, it only really works well in Sung Jinwoo. Like, there might be some cards like there's like the Night Eye attack, I think, from Undaunted Raid. There's probably a few other things that work with it. Um, but in general, I don't think there's another character that uses this. However, there have been characters in the past, and there very easily could be in the future that will just use this like a Feral Shriek or a Wish Hard. You know, I just played a Spotlight LQ last weekend with Sato 1 and took it down with it, and this card would be awesome there. It just takes one little character like that for this card to be really good. But in Sung Jinwoo, this is level up, regain the card that you removed, which is not bad either. From your hand though, if it's in your stage, it doesn't work, and that's obviously a restriction to keep it from working too well with like cards in the standard pool right now. So two more cards with payoffs for removing them. These have effects in stage, and then they work when you remove them from hand. So improving skills is sack foundation for a speed, which is um, that's on rate for like a one diff, but this is a two diff. But the upside on this one is after you remove with Sung Jin Woo's response, you build in the top of your deck face down committed. Unfortunate that it's committed, but this essentially means you don't lose that resource. You turn it into a foundation for the turn after. And then timely recovery is a two diff with sack gain two health. Tenacious is very, very nice there. And then after you remove it from your hand, gain two. Um, both reasonable cards in him. We want payoffs to be for removing XP cards, and then yeah, you can get a bit of sneaky life with timely recovery. And then to close it out, we have a few more, cards to fill out the deck. We have these two spam here. Faithful Decision is on the all symbol and is commit for -2 speed, and also commit after you play a block, it gains breaker 1. This one has some potential. -2 speed is not great, but the fact that you can give a block breaker 1 is awesome. A character like Rodan will want to get a bunch of speed, strip a bunch of speed from a move, and then you can play a very easy block here and break your opponent maybe after you've teleportation stoned them and made them play on additional progressive, then you breaker them later in the chain. You can make it really, really hard for them to hit you. And it's unattuned all, so any of the symbols could play it there. Um, Leveling strength is just commit for 2 damage, attuned life. Just kind of filling out the deck. And then the last two here, Dungeoneering Armor is some stun hate after this card is committed due to a rival effect. This attack gets -2 damage, and Tenacious Sack, this attack gets -1 damage. Nice to see some like DR punishing for people trying to stun you out. And then Serpent Scramble is just a one spam breaker 1 on the all symbol. So yeah, that pretty much covers it. There are a few cards here that I am super excited for, particularly the Ultra Rare Attack. Totally not biased in the slightest there, but thanks to UVS Games for giving me a chance to show this stuff off, and I will see you guys next time.